From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Good evening, everyone. We still have a slight chance for a passing sprinkle overnight tonight in the valley. A little bit of activity here west of the valley, but overall what we're seeing here is just not expected to be that big of a deal. And then by tomorrow, it's all pretty much out of here, clearing skies, and a bit of a warming trend going over the next few days into the weekend, peaking sometime around Saturday or Sunday, and then dry through at least Monday. So we'll be looking at drier conditions for your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Monday. But even after Monday's, big question mark. I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. But cooler and wetter pattern next week may not be so wet. Maybe a little bit cooler, but maybe not even as cool as we initially thought either. All right, so here's what's going on right now. You can see, of course, the activity that's kind of giving us the clouds and some of the showers that we've seen, especially for some of the mountains and not to mention along the coast. Once that moves out, we've got high pressure building in. In fact, you can see here just this little bit of a high pressure. It's fairly weak, but this is going to be that slight increase in the temperatures I was talking about. I think in the valley, we're talking temperatures possibly around 70 by the time we get into Saturday, possibly even Sunday. But right here, this is what I've had my eyes on. And you may recall, really over the last several days, we kind of really highlighting this colder air over the Gulf of Alaska. But here's the thing, and this is something that I really want to point out. You may have been noticing on social media the last couple of days the potential for heavy rainfall coming into next week, the first significant series of storms heading our way, all of that. Now, this is something I've been touching on, the potential of that, but never really made any promises that it was going to happen because there's been a lot of uncertainty in the long range, and there still is a lot of uncertainty. And quite honestly, I just think it's irresponsible to tell people about this series of storms heading our way over a week from now when there's still a lot of uncertainty. So I want to try to set the record straight and kind of show you what's happening. So the key is this trough of low pressure right here. Okay, so as we go into the weekend, I mentioned it's going to be warmer. Great, right? So we've got that, that's pretty much locked in. Feels pretty confident that's going to happen. All models agree with that. But after this is where the big question mark comes in. You see this colder air? Look where it is. This is next Tuesday, way off to our west. Colder air off to our west. Now temperatures, you can see they're dropping a little bit. That warm air that was over us is shifting to the south and east, and we're seeing some slightly cooler air move in. But this is next Tuesday. Any rain would all be right about here. Okay, so you can see here, no rain for Northern California. Now we take into Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Look where that low pressure system is. It's not moving any closer to us based on this particular forecast model. And there you can see this is where any of that rain would be. None of it over Northern California. So that's what this particular forecast model has set up for us. This is the American forecast model. We're going to talk about the differences between the American and the European forecast model. But first, let's get you through the next couple of days. All right, so here we are. At midnight tonight, there could be a passing sprinkle, as I mentioned, for even the valley. Not out of the question, but I mean, this is just few and far between, won't amount to much. By tomorrow, it is gone. We're seeing clearing skies for your Friday and even more sunshine as we go into your Saturday. This is, I think, the peak of the warming trend around Saturday, possibly Sunday for some. Now, this is what we've got to watch. Again, remember, I was talking about that colder air just kind of pulling down to the south and staying to our south. Look what happens. I'm going to show you the rain. See the swirl of low pressure? That's the colder air. Look where all the rain is. It's off to the west. This is next Tuesday. Let's take you into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. That low pressure system just sitting and spinning. Now, this is the American forecast model that I'm pointing out. Not a drop of rain for California through all of next week. That's what this model is showing. Now, if we were to look at the European forecast model, completely different story. This low pressure system would be centered about here. And if that were to be the case, you're talking rain and a lot of it. because you've got one system after another coming right into Northern California, and that would bring us the rain. But when you see a discrepancy like this, where one is saying, nope, not a drop of rain for Northern California, then you get another saying, oh, hold on a second, no, it's going to rain for all of North. This is where we go, this is where we as meteorologists have to communicate to you that hang tight. If you've got plans for next week, hang tight. We're going to be able to hopefully really pinpoint what's going to happen here in the next couple of days. And hopefully the long-range forecast models come into better agreement. So over the next 24, 48 hours, you start seeing, oh, there's going to be tons of rain over Northern California. Make sure you keep checking in with me, because I like to lay out for you everything that's out there. And then from there, we can try to maybe determine as to whether or not we're going to see that rainfall. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit more confidence, hopefully within the next few days. So again, you're going to see maps like this. Look at that. I mean, look at all that rain over Northern California, or California in general, right? That looks promising. You're going to see maps like this one. Look at all that rain through next Wednesday. The oranges indicate 5 inches of rain, right? The reds here indicate 2 to 3 inches of rain. And the purples and blues, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Again, looks pretty promising, right? Especially when you go through next Wednesday, you're like, oh, look at all the rain heading our way. So don't look at maps like these and go, yeah, look at, and show all your friends and say, look at all the rain we're going to have next week. And then they're all going to get disappointed because it doesn't happen. So again, we've got to really be careful when you're seeing maps like this, because there's usually context to it. You've got to know the story behind all of these maps. And that's where it's important to watch the latest forecast here in Weather NorCal. And I'll hopefully be able to spell it out for you. All right, so here are your wave heights going into your Friday. They're actually increasing. If you have to be out on a boat, just kind of know that those waves are kind of getting up there. North winds at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the west at 9 feet at about 14 seconds. And there you can see your high and low tide. No alerts for your Friday, but by Friday evening, Friday night, there will be that small craft advisory. Of course, you saw those wave heights kind of increasing. Temperatures tonight into tomorrow morning may not be as cold as they were this morning, but we're still going to be probably somewhere in at least in the low 40s. Some spots could get in the upper 30s. Now, you head into the higher elevations, also not as cold. It was in the teens this morning. I'm expecting more like the upper 20s, mid to upper 20s. And of course, for Siskiyou County, Trinity County, mid to upper 30s, low 40s for the inland areas. That's because of the overcast skies mainly, as that system kind of passes on through. So for tomorrow, for your Friday, we got those temperatures mid to upper 60s. And then of course, temperatures for the eastern mountains, low to mid 50s. Low to mid 50s, Siskiyou County, Trinity County around 60, low to mid 60s here for the inland areas for the north coast, upper 50s here. Eureka about 57, 58 degrees for Crescent City. Okay, so here's your 7-day outlook. Now, before we get to next week, let's talk about what we got this week. All right, so Friday, looking pretty good, dry through your Veterans Day weekend. If you've got plans, I know my wife is taking her dad out, who's a veteran. They're going out to go check out the coast and enjoy some beautiful weather out there. But overall, it looks like it's going to be pretty nice, right? So again, outdoor plans are in great shape. What I've done here for Tuesday through Thursday, this is what we in the industry call a broad brush forecast, okay? Especially when there's a lot of uncertainty. I've got the clouds in there, and I put the word chance in there for every single one of us. There is a chance we could see some wet weather, but there's a chance we may not. Again, we talked about that earlier. Let's take a look at the valley. Look at this, gorgeous for the weekend. Upper 60s to about 70. Wow, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I got a weekend meteorologist now. I can get out and enjoy this beautiful weather for the weekend. It's gonna be great. And of course, you got that chance, cooler, going into next week as well. Here's your 7-day outlook for the coast. Here you can see, of course, for your Veterans Day, a high of 57 for the coast, inland is 67, and 65 in Weaverville for your Veterans Day. Dry through at least Monday, and we could be looking at a chance for showers by next week.